A great evening to you and a warm welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this edition, calls intensify for players in the oil and gas industry to help deal with challenges facing the implementation of the cylinder recirculation policy.
What the ministry seeks from the LPG marketing companies or AOMCs, now the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, is to ensure that there's collaboration.
We'll be assessing the level of progress with the implementation of the cylinder recirculation model with the LPG Marketers Association shortly. Also in this bulletin, Ghana rated amongst top 20 visa-friendly destinations across the African continent. We will be telling you more from the latest Africa Visa Openness Index, which measures the extent to which each country in Africa is open to visitors from other African countries.
6 countries, and there are about 26 more countries that do not require visas to enter into the territory.
Plus, Ghana Shippers Authority developing sophisticated technologies to fully eliminate human elements at the ports.
We have a stakeholder interactive system. This system will offer a secure, unified platform that consolidates data from diverse sources: WhatsApp, SMS, Facebook, and so on.
We have details of this and more for you. Please stay. I truly appreciate your time. I am Pius Kojo Baka, and looking at our stories. Director in charge of downstream petroleum at the Energy Ministry, Ali Nihu Abeka, is urging players in the oil marketing industry to help deal with challenges facing implementation of the cylinder recirculation policy. According to him, the Energy Ministry seeks to collaborate with all stakeholders within the sector to keep the initiative running. He spoke to Joy Business at the rebranding of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies.
It's not an issue to be resolved per se. What the ministry seeks from the LPG marketing companies or AOMCs, now the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, is to ensure that there's collaboration between their groups and the National Petroleum Authority, which is the regulator that's implementing the cylinder recirculation model. Of course, the cylinder recirculation model is a new marketing tool that is being used under the LPG for Development program. And so, because the government has a policy that by the year 2030, at least 50% of Ghanaians should have access to LPG, which should be useful for domestic use and commercial use as well as industrial usage. So by that period, we should have reached the 50% threshold. So in order to do that, we need several mechanisms to be able to do it. And one of those mechanisms is the cylinder recirculation model. And what that seeks to do is, currently individuals own cylinders.
And we want to interrogate the level of progress made so far when it comes to the cylinder recirculation program. And joining us via Zoom to help us understand that is Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumi. Thanks so much, Mr. Kumi, for joining the discussion here on Business Live. Now, even before we talk about the challenges with the policy, where are we with the policy now?
Good evening, Pius. I don't think I'm even the right person to answer such a direct question. I think MPA should be the right place for you to get answers to some of these questions.
Oh, yeah, a stakeholder.
We as LPG marketing companies have been pushed out of the implementation process. So as of now, I cannot really tell you what the progress is. But the point is that we really respect the call by my very good old uncle, Mr. Nuhu Abeka, for collaboration. But the point is that you cannot have a very successful football match when the players who are supposed, the 22 players who are supposed to play the match are outside the stadium. And then you have match commissioners and match officials on the field calling spectators to come and play the match. I don't think you end up having any good game. And that is exactly what is happening. The LPG marketing companies have been pushed out of this process, and that is making the implementation very, very, very difficult, if not impossible.
And it appears the challenges are many, but what exactly is dragging the full rollout?
Again, I think NPA will be able to tell you. I mean, they have claimed that they have rolled out CRM. They are making a lot of noises about it. They are organizing meetings and patting themselves in the back that the cylinder recirculation is in full operation. But I think you are a media person. You have been following this model for some time now. We have attempted to implement this for the past 8 years. We started somewhere in 2017. And if you are to look at the progress, the length of time we've taken and the progress we've made, I think I'll score as less than 10%. So for us, we don't see any progress that we have made in this. We've ended up just wasting resources and everybody's time because we are not adopting the right strategy to ensure that the implementation is properly done. I mean, you have indigenous Ghanaians who have built the LPG industry for the past 30 years, and you think you can implement such a policy and push them aside and implement it, and you think you can be successful? No, you cannot be successful. I think it's about time MPA eats a humble pie and go back to the drawing table, call all of us. We have given all the good advices that we needed to give them for us, all of us, to ensure that this policy is successfully implemented. But they've ignored all the advice we have given. We as indigenous who have done this for 30 years, if for nothing at all, count on our experience and expertise to get this thing through. But MPA think otherwise. And that is where we are now. We think it's about time they eat a humble pie, and then let's regroup, let's go back onto the drawing board, and let's revisit some of the advice we gave 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
And Mr. Kumi, I keep asking about the progress made from your perspective because you are a major stakeholder. The last time I spoke to NPA on this very platform about the cylinder recirculation model did say that, look, we are still negotiating and we are still engaging players like yourself in that stead. So are you suggesting that nothing of that sort is happening?
And I don't know the last time MPA engaged us. I think the last time was for the past 6 months. I don't remember any engagement that we've had with MPA on CRM. I mean, we got to a point that we said, okay, give us the thing, let us implement this policy through our existing LPG infrastructure. They said no, we should decommission all the equipment in our stations and throw them away and turn the stations into exchange point before they can allow us to be part of it. And we said we can't do that. Every LPG station you see out there will cost you about $250,000. We can't just decommission the equipment there and throw them away just because government wants to introduce a new policy. And that is where the problem is. You can't ignore the existing infrastructure. You have over 800 LPG stations across the country, well distributed. Why don't you begin from there? And then we can then spring up to areas where we don't have LPG stations. But you are pushing this thing aside and you think you can just go and bring some new players onto the system for them to carry out your cylinder recirculation. It's a fiasco. It's such a monumental failure. We have wasted a lot of resources on CRM, but I don't think we have gotten anywhere.
Well, moving forward, the director in charge of downstream petroleum at the Energy Ministry, Ali Nuhu Abeka, earlier did make a passionate appeal to players like yourself to collaborate well to keep the initiative running. Are you in?
Oh, we are very much in. In fact, about 2 months ago, the minister, Herbert Krapper, invited us, and my good old uncle Ali was there. We went and sat down, and we had a very good chat. And they understood perfectly where we were coming from. And they promised talking to MPA, and then we all look at the way forward. For MPA, I think they've reached their wit end. And if the ministry doesn't take this up and try to give the policy a new direction, I don't think the way the MPA is going, we are going to have any successful rollout of CRM. Like I said, the official rollout was done 2 years ago. And do you see any CRM being done in Ghana? They are out there talking and engagement, continue to waste resources on this. But the approach is wrong. We don't have any problem with government introducing a policy. Right. But when that policy is being done and is not being done well, we have every right as industry players to speak up, and that is what we've been doing. And we are still saying that the direction National Petroleum is going with this policy is totally wrong. There is a need for a rethink. They should eat a humble pie. You got it wrong. Let's regroup. Let's all come back to the table. And let's revisit some of the advice that we have been given. You can't. You may be professors in LPG, but you cannot be the guy who has done the thing for 30 years.
That's right.
You can't.
I think your point is well made. Thank you so much, Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kubi, sharing your thoughts with us. And of course, we shall follow up with the NPA as well and get their side as to how the implementation is going. Now, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation is yet to establish a reserve fund to finance its long-term operations as required by the Petroleum Act. The company presently receives 55% of the carried and participating interest to fund its operational expenditures. The allocation of petroleum revenue to the company is expected to halt in 2026, following its implementation in 2011. There is more in this report.
And over time, we've realized that a lot of companies default in the payment of this surface rental. So as at end of 2023, IOCs owed the Ghana government almost, I think, almost $2 million. Yes, and that is worrying. Worrying also because some of the companies have left Ghana already. They folded up and left Ghana. So it's going to be difficult to chase them to get the money. So that is why PIAC is recommending that government should take the surface rental before they even leave. So in the course of production, they should be made to pay the surface rental so that the state doesn't incur any losses.
So that's Richard Elima, is the technical advisor on PIAC there. Meanwhile, 10 international oil companies are yet to cough up money to settle their surface rentals, totaling over $2.6 million owed the government.
They are supposed to set up a fund to support their own activities. You know, they are into exploration on behalf of the state, and they are also supposed to be a fully fledged, oil company doing business for the state. Now, the law says that currently they take a share of petroleum revenue to support their operations. I think not less than 55% of the total revenue that we get from oil, from the carried and participating interest. Not less than 55% of that amount goes into supporting GNPC's operations. The law says that over a period of time, 15 years or so, we are supposed to divorce themselves from government funding. That period will end in 2026. So the question is, when government then decides not to give them any money, how are they going to fund their operations? That is why we are recommending that they should actualize their own reserve funding, so that once they're able to put aside some monies every year, they will be able to build up enough revenues to support their own operations post 2026.
They started, if I recall, 15 years ago. Since that time, only 2 years now, they've not even set aside any reserve.
Not that PIAC is aware. We are not aware of the establishment of any fund like that. It's a necessity. We do not want a situation where after 2026, GNPC will be in dire straits, funding will become a problem, and then they will have to fall back on government again. We don't want that situation recurring. They are in the best position now to at least make some reserves, save some money, and then prepare for the dry season after 2026.
You're still watching Business Live. We have more stories for you after this break. Welcome back to Business Live. Ghana has been rated amongst the top 20 visa-friendly destinations across the African continent. The details are contained in the latest Africa Visa Openness Index, which measures the extent to which each country in Africa is open to visitors from other African countries. The report is being outdoored today at the African Economic Conference in Botswana, from where my colleague Blessed Suga reports.
With a score of 0.086, Ghana has been rated number 5 amongst top 20 African countries that are known to be visa-friendly destinations. Now, that's contained in the latest 2024 Africa Visa Openness Index. The index is basically measuring the extent to which an African country is open to visitors from other African nations. Details indicate that Ghana currently gives out visa on arrival to about 26 countries, and there are about 26 more countries that do not require visas to enter into the territory. But speaking about the West Africa sub-region, the indication is that some more African countries appear to be doing better, slightly better than Ghana, including Benin and the Gambia, which is rated the topmost when it comes to countries performing well on the openness index. Generally speaking, about 17 countries in all are performing better in terms of their openness on the index. But there is more, as at the Africa Economic Conference here, where stakeholders are calling for the passage of the protocol on the free movement of people, which is a twin protocol that will help the integration agenda of Africa, knowing that the African Continental Free Trade Area has also been passed. Only 4 African countries have passed that, and there are hopes at this conference that that will be secured in the coming future.
This year, we saw 17 countries improving their score, and we applaud them. And then when you consider the countries that have improved and those that have maintained, we have 85%, which is 46 countries. 17 have improved, 29 have maintained, whilst, unfortunately, 8 countries saw their scores decline. We still have our top performers there, the countries that allow visa-free entry for all Africans. And it's interesting when you look at the graphics, because you can actually draw a straight line dividing the continent into 2. So we have the Gambia in the west, far west, the west coast, and then followed by Benin, also in West Africa, and then we have Rwanda in East Africa and the Seychelles. So those are the 4 countries that have actually allowed all Africans to enter visa-free. And then in terms of the top 20, you have West and East Africa having an equal share, 8 countries that are in the top 20. And then Southern Africa, the region where we are launching this report, we have 3 countries, and these are Mozambique, Madagascar, and Mauritius. Hopefully, Botswana will follow suit. And then in North Africa, we have 1 country, which is Mauritania. Sadly, we don't have any country from Central Africa that is in the top 20.
Bless Suga for Joy News. Haboroni, Botswana.
And to some other stories, the Ghana Shippers Authority says it is working on the development of some sophisticated technologies that will track missing cargoes at the port. According to the Chief Executive Officer, Kwesi Sapong, the authority is working to fully eliminate human intervention, improve compliance, and reduce delays at the port. He was speaking at the 2024 Tech in Ghana conference. There is more in this report.
We have a stakeholder interactive system. This system will offer a secure, unified platform that consolidates data from diverse sources: WhatsApp, SMS, Facebook, and so on. So it means that if you are in the port, any port, and you're having any issues, you can interact with us for us to help solve your issues. something called cargo exchange services. We're also working on a cargo exchange platform for transportation and logistics industry to connect shippers, logistics providers, freight brokers, and others in a centralized marketplace where they can exchange information and services to transact their business. This platform aims to automate the transport supply chain end-to-end activities, offering real-time, cloud-based transportation and cargo exchange services. The system is aimed at connecting hauliers, shippers, cargo owners, warehouse operators, etc. Cargo exchange seeks to optimize service levels, reduce costs, and streamline logistics operations. So we're in the market looking for partners to work with and all of these things. The future holds quite a bit of promise for economic development. As technology continues to evolve, several key trends and innovations are poised to drive growth and foster sustainable development. Businesses are increasingly adopting digital technologies to enhance operational efficiency and customer engagement. This transformation can lead to increased productivity, cost savings, and the creation of new business models.
Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology, in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, has opened applications for the second cohort of EdTech Fellowship in Ghana after the successful completion of the first cohort's acceleration program. Speaking to Joy Business after a ceremony to demonstrate some successes chalked in the first cohort, Acting Director at the MasterCard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning, Rodwell Mangisi, said the agenda is to support government policies on sustainable education.
MasterCard Foundation EdTech Fellowship is designed to provide growth stage EdTech companies with business development and financial support to help them scale their products to drive inclusive access to education. More than 100,000 youth have benefited from the program, which pays attention to small and medium enterprises in the sector. Acting Director at the MasterCard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning, Rodwell Mangisi, believes the collaboration is critical to transformation of African youth. He has been speaking with Joy Business at the first cohort demo day in Accra.
If you remember, we had the EdTech conference in Abuja, where we had all the ministers of education. We had the ministers of education at the conference in Abuja. And out of there, we had 10 recommendations that have come from ministers of education from all these countries. So in all the work that we do work with the governments to make sure that the educational policies that they have in place, are they enabling the young people of the continent to access quality education. But most importantly, really the work that we are doing with the MasterCard Foundation EdTech Fellowship is really to enable young people across the continent to access quality education through the use of technology.
Program Manager at MEST Africa, Angela Doho, has been speaking about the impact of the program so far since its inception.
Ventures in this cohort have partnered with schools, government bodies, private institutions, and with each other to bridge the gap between technology and education delivery. Through their collective efforts, they have made significant impact, reaching a total of 136,798 learners. Among them, 62,271 young women, 26,713 from rural areas, and 7,711 are learners with disabilities. This has just been over the past 6 months.
The MasterCard Foundation EdTech Fellowship is an entrepreneurship acceleration program designed to support promising African EdTech ventures.
Ride-hailing service Yango, in collaboration with data science competition platform Zindi, has held the 2024 Accra Mobility Prediction Hackathon. The event, held at the University of Ghana Computing Systems, brought together some of Ghana's brightest students to craft machine learning solutions for real-world transport challenges. Here's a report.
Then challenge participants to develop a machine learning model capable of predicting average speeds on major Accra roads at different times of the day. Vice President and Head of Public Policy, Yango Africa Zaniwe Sari, explained the motive behind the hackathon.
First of all, I'd like to emphasize that Yango is an international global company, and when we see initiatives like this, we see a place where Yango can create value. Now, if you look at Zindi itself, it's really a place for data analysts to thrive and to grow. And we believe that as a corporate, that is our responsibility to ensure that we don't just create global value, but we create value for Africans right here on African soil. When we create this ecosystem or inject into it.
The Director General of the National Information Technology Agency, Richard Ochifosu, represented the Communications Minister, Lord Yango, for its commitment to address Ghana's mobility issues. He highlighted the government's commitment for such forward-thinking initiatives. Mr. Ochifosu emphasized the significance of the competition, describing it as a model example of academia and industry collaborating to solve practical issues.
Well, the fact that the minister has nominated me to represent it shows you that government is interested in these developments. Hackathons are important. It's an avenue for us to bring students together, and in this case, Yango and Zindi. So here you have a serious industry and academia collaboration to actually solve real life issues.
And that's it for Business Life. I am Pius Kojo Baka. We have more stories for you when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Pleasure serving you.